Hi, friends. Welcome back to Career Hotline, the podcast where we unpack what work really looks like. Today's going to be a little special podcast. My camera is off today. I'm going to be reading some facts I have ready for you guys, and I want to do so without having to constantly look at my camera. The best way for me to do that is to just turn the camera off and solely focus into reading these for you. So let's get started. Let's talk about 100 facts about careers. Some of these will make you laugh, some will make you think, and some might sting you just a little because let's be honest, the working world is a wild place. So whether if you're walking into your first job or stuck in a career limbo, these facts are here to open your eyes. Let's get into it. Let's start with the big picture. Did you know the average person will spend about 90,000 hours at work in their lifetime? That's roughly a third of your life and doesn't even count the time you spend thinking about work after hours. The 8-hour workday wasn't just gifted to us, it was a result of decades of labor strikes and worker activism back in the 1800s. Before that, factory workers were doing 10 to 16-hour shifts, 6 days a week. Here's one for the freelancers and rideshare drivers. More than 35% of US workforce is a part of the gig economy. 35%. That's over 1/3 of the country working with no PTO, no healthcare, no 401k. Flexibility, maybe, but security, not always. Globally, millions of workers still operate without basic protections. No minimum wage, no union, no safety nets. It's 2025 and the playing field is still wildly uneven. Office life is its own beast. The average office worker checks their email 70 times a day. And if you're also checking Slack, Teams, texts, and your calendar, it's no wonder why people feel so burnt by lunch. Do you have a work friend? I'm going to say you do. Keep them close. Research shows that having a best friend at work makes you 7 times more engaged in your job and way more likely to stick around when things get tough. I love that fact. So you can increase your work engagement by 7 times if you have a work bestie. Let's talk about open floor plans. I've worked in one of them. Remember when every startup tore down walls for collaboration? Turns out open offices decrease productivity and increase distraction. I feel like this is a no-brainer. But yeah, give us back our cubicles, please. And finally, meetings. Most employers will say at least half of their meetings are unnecessary. And yet somehow we're still adding more to the calendar. Don't you love that? If you are in the arts, you already know. This life is not for the faint of heart. The average actor in the US makes under 30,000 a year. Most actors wait tables between gigs. I feel like we see this in movies all the time, but that makes sense cuz they're making under 30,000 a year. And they definitely deserve to be paid more. Art school grads don't earn a living from their art. Less than 10% make a full-time income from their craft. And many are juggling multiple side hustles to stay afloat. As for musicians, streaming doesn't pay the bills. Artists today make more money from touring, merch, and teaching lessons than they do from Spotify. A single stream earns fractions of a penny. But it's not all struggle. Thanks to the internet, digital artists are thriving. Commissions, online shops, and even NFTs have opened doors that traditional galleries never could. STEM is the land of high paychecks, but not necessarily equal access. And we've already talked about this in the previous episodes where I interviewed women in STEM, a couple of them actually. So, to bring you some facts about that, only 28% of STEM workers are women. That is crazy. And when it comes to leadership roles, that number gets even smaller. Going back to my episode with the engineering manager, Andy, you are very special. You make up 28% of the workers, and even less than that because you're in a leadership role. So go, Andy. Data science, cybersecurity, and UX design are among the fastest growing fields worldwide. Many of these roles didn't even exist 15 years ago. And here's a hopeful stat: artificial intelligence is projected to create 97 million new jobs by 2025. That's more than it will replace. Also worth noting, not all tech workers come from coding boot camps or computer science degree. Many UX designers and analysts started in psychology, English, even art. The entry point is wider than you think. Let's talk about entrepreneurship and business. Thinking of launching your own thing, just know 1 in 5 new businesses fail in the first year. But also know failure is part of the game. Most successful founders have tanked something before they found their win. Gen Z is the most entrepreneur generation we've seen yet. Over 60% say they want to start their own business. Side hustle culture is alive and well. If you're pitching to investors, less than 1% of venture capital pitchers actually get funded. Most VCs are betting on unicorns, not workhorses. Want stability? Consider franchising. Franchises make up just 10% of the US businesses, but generate over 750 billion annually. Moving on to education and career path, you don't need a perfect plan. The average person changes careers 5 to 7 times in their lifetime, not just jobs, careers. Only 27% of college grads end up working in a field related to their major. So, if you feel off track, you're actually in the majority. Internships can boost your chance of getting hired by over 20%, and job shadowing is still one of the best ways to test and see if a career fits before you leap into it. And PSA: soft skills like emotional intelligence, curiosity, and communication often outweigh technical skills when it comes to hiring. Who you are matters just as much as what you know. Let's zoom out for a second and let's talk more about global facts. In France, employees have the legal right to ignore work emails after hours. I know that is pretty crazy, and we totally need that. It's called the right to disconnect. Meanwhile, in Japan, there's a word for dying from overwork. The word is called karoshi. And I hope I pronounced that right. Germany, it's known for its dual educational system. You can be training as an accountant or engineer and doing paid hands-on apprenticeships at the same time. And in 2025, over 25 countries now offer digital nomad visas. Remote work isn't just a trend, it's global. We love to see it. Nursing has been ranked the most trusted professions in America for over 20 years, and yet burnout in healthcare hits hard. Over 30% of new nurses consider quitting within the first 5 years. Vets, EMTs, and social workers all have one thing in common: high stress, low pay, and very little public recognition. These are the heroes we rarely hear about, and they should be more appreciated. Want to enter healthcare faster? Dental hygienists, physical therapists, and radiologic technologists often only need 2 to 3 years of education. Let's talk about creators and digital economy. Over 70% of Gen Z say they want to be influencers. That's not shocking to me. They've grown up around it. They see all of the good things that people post, and you want to be in it, right? You see it, you want it, you got it. Full time content creators often work 40 plus hours a week, editing, posting, negotiating brand deals, managing multiple income streams, and fighting algorithm burnouts. Some TikTokers earn $1,000 per sponsored post with just 100K followers. But most creators don't get paid from the platforms. They monetize with merch, Patreon, coaching, and brand collabs. Okay, let's get weird. Did you know the CIA hires librarians? NASA employs space psychologists, and there are professional cuddlers out there offering platonic touch therapy sessions. How cool is that? Mattress testers, pet food tasters, and snake milkers, yes, they extract venoms, are actual paid professions. Oh, and some of these people get paid to stand in line for other people. They're called line standers. I know this is true for a fact because when we had an In-N-Out opened here in Boise, there were people who were posting that there was stand in line if someone wants to pay them for In-N-Out burger. I thought that was pretty crazy, but hey, if you're getting paid, go for it. Get it. But also, one thing you should know about me is I actually don't love In-N-Out. I'm going to leave that there. That includes my 100 career facts for today's podcast. I know that was pretty short, but I like to throw this in here to give you guys a little palate cleanse, a little refresher before we get into the next guest interviews. I am heavily focused onto the creative space here in the next few episodes. I hope you liked this episode. Let me know what surprised you the most. Was it the 90,000 hours that you'll spend working, or the idea that college major probably won't determine your job? Here's what I hope you take away. There's no one right way to build a career. You're allowed to pivot. You're allowed to change your mind. And honestly, the best path are rarely linear. If you found this episode helpful or surprising, send it to a friend, drop a review, or post a comment with the fact that hit you the hardest. Follow Career Hotline for more career conversations from real people about what work really looks like. I'm Bo, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.